Style and sophistication. The briefcase is an underrated way to carry your everyday items. In this video, we'll take a look at this vintage one from Wilson's Leather, and I'll also show you what I typically pack for a day at the office. Then, we'll dig into some other modern briefcase options from companies like Air, Bellroy, and Filson. We'll also take a look at a US assembled watch from Veyer, which is beautiful in its own right, but can also really tie together the smart look of carrying a briefcase. This is a briefcase from Wilson's Leather. My dad carried this with him on the train every morning in the late 80s from our home in Trenton, New Jersey to Manhattan, New York. The story goes his grandpa gave him this briefcase after using it for many years before him. This is a folio style, which means it looks like a portfolio, but it has handles that pop out to make it easier to carry. I have no clue how old this thing is, but it's held up pretty well over the years since I've been using it. If you know the year and model, be sure to throw it in the comments. It's a super simple briefcase with just a few pockets within the top portion of the bag. There's also this middle zipper section that's a little more structured. And then some smaller leather pockets within the bottom section of the bag for things like business cards, notepads, and pens. This is so well constructed though and super durable. Also, on the outside of the bag, there's a large pocket for any quick access items. And that's basically it. It's simplicity at its finest. For me, briefcases portray such a cool and sophisticated look. Maybe because in their heyday, people looked like this while carrying them. But there certainly is such a stylish element to carrying a bag like this. And for me, it's accessories like a briefcase or a watch that are going to smarten up my outfit. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be in a t-shirt rather than a suit jacket. Now, I want to look at what I would pack on a typical day when I'm going into the office. If I choose to bring this briefcase, I'll be packing pretty minimally for the day. I'm not going to be able to bring along things like lunch, so I'll have to take that into account and eat out that day. A little sacrifice for style. The first thing I'll bring is my 13-inch MacBook Air. I've been a loyal Air user for years. I love how light and thin this computer is. Next up, a book from the 33 1/3 series. And I've talked about these on the channel before, but these are so awesome. They are short books that discuss quintessential albums from all different genres. I love reading these on the train. I'll also bring along this Pebble mouse from Logitech. And this thing is sleek, well-designed, and super functional. It's also very useful when doing any kind of photo or video editing. Next up, we have a hub adapter from Aukey. This is super useful for plugging anything into my Mac now that they only have USB-C slots. And I find that the ones from Aki seem to work really well. I'll also bring mini notebooks from Moleskine because I've always really liked jotting things down during the day and making those to-do lists. Next, pens from Altitude, which work as both ink pens and styluses for an iPad or an iPhone. So very, very versatile here. And then lastly, I'll throw in some business cards just in case I need them for the day. Now, before we look at those modern briefcases, I wanted to take a look at a watch that Veyer recently sent me. So this is not a sponsored video, but they did send me this watch to test out, and I gotta say, I'm not a watch person by any means, but this thing is super cool. First off, the unboxing experience from Veyer is very nice. As you can see, this box is very premium. Inside, you will find a fun little branded sticker along with a card. It's a little tricky to pick up, as you can see, but that has a signed certificate of assembly, which is a really nice touch. Now, inside the box, we find two smaller skinny boxes. The first one has the watch inside, along with a couple cards explaining how the watch is solar powered, which is awesome, and one about tagging them online in social posts, along with information on how to set up and use your watch by scanning a QR code. Then we finally have the actual watch, which looks so sharp. And in the other box, we find a second strap. And this is a really cool touch too, because all Veyor watches include a secondary strap, so you can change up your style pretty effortlessly. It took me a hot second to take off the straps with these little metal quick release buttons, but overall, it's a pretty easy experience. So this watch is called the C3 Tactical Field Solar, and I chose the 36mm size. It is a solar-powered watch, which is extremely convenient. You actually get 6 months of power with just 6 hours of sunlight. There is a waterproof guarantee on the watch for up to 100 meters deep, so you can wear this thing while swimming, which is pretty cool. And the watch is assembled in the US. Veyor is actually the largest independent watch assembler in America, so that's a pretty neat thing to be able to shout about. And lastly, this thing is just really, really well made. It feels high-end on the wrist. You may have heard of the watch brand Shinola before, and I'd say this is a good alternative to those. The one I'm showing off here comes in at $329, and if you're in the market for a new watch, I highly suggest checking this one out. And as an added bonus, it looks really great while carrying a briefcase. And if you do plan on getting something from Veyor, be sure to click on the link in the description, because if you do that, you're going to get 10% off your order. So it can actually amount to a pretty nice savings. And now I just want to finish out the video by looking at a couple modern day briefcases. I really like this one from Air here. It's called the Pro Brief. Comes in at $139, so it's going to be the cheapest bag that we look at here. It comes in 3 different colors, and it just has that typical Air kind of feel to it. It's really nice, sleek, well designed, and something I really want to check out. And this bag comes in at 13 liters, but as you can see at the bottom of the page, there's also another briefcase in their lineup called the Tech Briefcase, which is a little bit larger, and that one looks pretty cool too. Next up is the Tokyo Laptop Bag, and this one comes in at $149, and it's from the brand Bellroy. And this is the same as Air. Bellroy is really known for their high-quality bags, and this, matches the lineup of the Bellroy bags as well. I really like this Everglade color here in this one, and yeah, I'd be really excited to check out this one as well. And then finally, we're going to round things out with this Filson bag, and this is the Tin Cloth Compact Briefcase. And this is a classic bag. Really durable items from Filson. I have a Filson belt that I've used in the past, and it's held up so well over the years. I can only imagine this bag would hold up just as well. And thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in next week's video.